Hi guys, we are here again to do a Let's Talk Manga episode. This one, it comes with lots of trigger warnings. This is a manga that is definitely not for kids, and I will go to it in a minute. What manga is this? It's Goodnight Punpun, or in Japanese, Oyasumi Punpun. And this is by Inio Asano. Not sure if I pronounced the name correctly, but I tried. I read this one in January. You can get this easily online or in shops. I think they're still selling it in shops on the omnibus editions that have 7 volumes. Now, the manga was originally probably serialized, if I'm not mistaken, by chapters, but when it was bounded into volumes, it was 13 volumes. So on the 7 of the omnibus, the first 6, each volume is actually 2 volumes of the original series, and the last one, it is just the last one volume. That made sense, right? 6 plus 2, 12 plus 1, 13. Math. Anyway, after that probably not needed information, what is this manga about? It's about a lot of things, but it's about Punpun Puniyama. Yes, it has a punny name on purpose. Punpun is an average kid living on an average city. He wants to win a Nobel Prize and save the world. He wants to go far with his first love, and he wants to find some porn. This is part of the description of the manga that I had to tell you because I thought it was just an amazing description, to be honest. But it's much more than that. To start with, the artwork is amazing. And I'm gonna leave, since this is a manga with so many plot twists or revelations or big happenings, and since it has lots of sensible topics, I will leave some images, safe images, on the description, so you can just click on those links and you will see either covers or parts of the manga itself where you won't be spoiled really, but where you can see why Punpun doesn't look exactly like an average kid, because he is represented as this ghostly, kinda human, kinda bird-like form. And his family, his mother, father, and uncle are also represented in the same way, but they all have like distinct features, like the mustache on the dad, the glasses and the beanie on the uncle, or the pillows of the breasts. Let's just call it what it is, the breasts of the mother. There are quite, they have a life on its own. It's not graphic, it's literally just to crazy shapes. It's actually really funny. Yeah, I'm probably gonna try to find one of the pictures where you see the mother just to see how funny it is to look at her. But this manga is anything but funny. Now, trigger warnings for this. Depression, probably anxiety, paranoia, domestic violence, sexual assault, suicide, like grief, diseases in general, fatal diseases, like hospital inducing diseases with slow deaths, let's put it like that. I don't know if cults count as trigger warning, but that's a thing. Child abuse, I'm not exactly sure if there was bullying in it. There is events related with fire. I'm probably forgetting something because there is so much thing. Murder. There is murder. Already said suicide. There is lots and lots of things. This is really graphic without being too graphic. You see people die. You don't see excessive gore, but you see people dying and you understand how they die. There is nudity, sex scenes that are not too graphic, but you know what's happening there. So it's not, how to say, in the context of the story itself, it's not a gore fest, it's not porn, it's sensible with what they show. I mean, still brutal, but visually sensible. Does that make sense? Now, this is a really tough manga to say to everybody to read because of all of that. But it has a very, very interesting story because you basically follow Punpun, and he's an average boy, but things around him are not that average because he's like, you can see how other people's problems and mental struggles and all of that end up influencing his life because he is pretty young when they started, like maybe around the 12-13 mark, and it goes all the way at least 16-18. I'm not exactly sure which one. So you see all of his development as a boy, how other people's problems affect him, how he deals with his own problems, how the problems of the girl that he loves and he wants to protect influences the way he acts, the way he sees love, the way that his father figures and mother figure influence the way that he sees his own potential in life. You see his sexual awakening. It is a little bit iffy, to be honest. So yeah, there is all of that to deal with. Now, it is have this group of friends that includes the girl that he likes plus 3 more boys, I think. And you do see, not all, but you have more or less a good idea of what goes on their lives too, and it's also not pretty. That reminds me that you see also loss of parents, alcoholism, and all of that. There is a lot. Just go into this thinking that has all the trigger warnings, okay? Because I'm gonna keep reminding things. You see how they're developed too, and the relationships between them and how it affects them in the future, and I really like that. Now, who would appreciate this manga? I think this manga would be for people that actually like contemporary and hard-hitting books. Also, it helps if you like reading about, if you also like reading about Japan or contemporary Japanese books, because it does have the same feeling, like that outlook of life and the way sexuality is portrayed, because there is something about sexuality in Japanese media, books and manga that has, it's very real and at the same time a little bit disturbing. And I don't know if it's just the realness of it that gets to me, or if it's because it's usually treated, I mean, on books, and I'm excluding porn out of this, okay? It's usually treated in a very raw way. It's not supposed to be, exciting. It's not supposed to be porn. You are seeing exactly what it is. The most crude way to look at it, and I mean, that's not pretty. It's not, I don't know if that's me thing or if anyone else has noticed it, but you're gonna have to have that in consideration. Now, I only read one of Murakami's books, the 1K 84? I think it's 84. Please tell me it's 84. Because I always confuse it with 84, 83, or 86, but I think it's 84. I would say if you like Murakami, you might like this one just on the basis of that book alone. So, if you like that book, you might like this because the cult part felt somewhat similar on both stories, the way it is treated, because it is almost nonsensical on both parts, and it's like a subplot that messes with everything, but at the same time, if lots of it wasn't there, I mean, it's more, I was gonna say that it's more important on 1K84, but it's also important in different ways on Punpun, so yeah. I don't know if subplot is the best way to say it, but like another plot line there. It's another plot line on the story that has some very strange and very what the hell moments. So yeah, probably if you like 1K84, you're gonna like Goodnight Punpun. Now, I gotta say that despite I'm saying I'm telling you guys to go check up this manga, I feel like the first volumes are more successful than the last one, than especially the last one. That's because I think on the last one they were trying to go like more intense, and on the last one they wanted to finalize everything with a bow and everything is treated and it's all pretty. But I felt like it could have been handled differently, not so prettily, because there's lots of things that happen on this manga that are not pretty, that leave marks, and part of me understands what they made. I think it was like trying to have a hopeful outlook on everything. But I think that even though having a little bit of a hopeful outlook, there were the topics that needed to be a little differently treated, let's put it like that. So yeah. Now, I am gonna do a little itsy bitsy spoil. So I'm gonna put this hand up, and I'm gonna put this hand up. So if you don't want any spoils and you see this hand up, just mute me and press forward to the very end. I don't think I'm gonna have much more to add, or just leave. So what? I'm gonna do a little bit of a spoil. If you are here, be warned. Okay? We all ready for it? Yeah. The Punpun appearance, it's something made. It's not random. It has a reason. So the reason of it comes with how Punpun develops. As I said at the beginning, Punpun has a very similar image to his family. It's like he identifies as part of that group. It's his family. It's just like, you know how you feel when you are a kid in your family. You are almost one. It's your little thing. And then as he keeps growing, his visual is gonna start changing. And it's gonna be more and more human, but not the face. It's gonna go back and forth, and it's gonna be a mark of what is happening on his head. and I find that so well done and so interesting. And one of the things that I really love on this manga is the fact that his appearance changes depending on his mental state and his mental growth and how he's actually feeling. And it was really well explored, that part. Really loved it. Enough of that. I will finish this. I don't want to do any more spoils, and I don't want this to be overly long. If by any chance you have read this manga, do let me know what you think of it. Was it too much nonsense? Because there is a lot of nonsensical things happen. I mean, some nonsensical things have a reason. Others, I thought it was a little bit too much. But then again, is that nonsensical tendency that sometimes Japanese literature has for some reason. I think it's more of a cultural thing. But anyway, I will finish this because if I'm gonna start talking about Japanese literature, I'm gonna stay here for a while. So yeah, this is done. Let me know if you have read it or if you plan to read it, and don't forget I'm gonna put links out to some pictures of the manga on the description. They have nothing graphic on them and they have no spoils. So yeah. See you guys.